be really loud.
Yes.
Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis. It's Comic Roundtable. I lied. I'm not going to be loud. I'm really trying to practice my inside voice for all this excitement that I'm holding in to talk comic books with my good friends, Rez and Mike. How's it going, peoples?
Excellent.
Good. Great. We're here to talk some books. This week I got lots of books. I didn't get all of my books though. I was looking over my thing, and Snagglepuss came out this week, and I didn't get it. It'll be shipped to me next week. Did you guys read Snagglepuss? Mike, you didn't, did you?
No, I was not excited. I flipped through
okay.
it, and nothing I saw made me want to. Made me feel I had to read it.
Okay, I was going to ask about that because I saw your video and I wasn't thinking about it, and then I saw Ed's I can't remember his digits. He's occasionally comes on and talks with us.
Yeah.
I saw his video, his haul, and he had Snagglepuss #2 in it, and I'm like, wait a second. I had to go look to make sure, and ask around to make sure that it came out because I was confused. But yeah, I didn't read it this week, so I'll have it next week. Talk about it next week. Did you read it, Rez?
I went to the physical store and flipped through it. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. Like I didn't feel like a sense of urgency on finishing it, but I did flip through half of it.
Well, I will hopefully have mine next week. I will read it and I will talk about it. See, so you guys seem to be unenthused about it. I'm actually really excited to get it, so I'm looking forward to getting it and checking it out.
Well, I'm gonna just say this. Like, what's the other one? The one that Howard Chaykin's writing. The Riff and Raff. Is it Riff and Raff?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that one. I feel like this Snagglepuss is the equivalent of how that one's reading for me. It's not bad. It's just I'm gonna wait for a trade maybe.
Okay.
That's how I feel. If that makes sense. Not bad.
Sure. Well, it's a different kind of
great. It's not as great as Flintstones for me.
Well, and I think one of the difference between the Flintstones is the Flintstones, each issue, to some degree, is a self-contained story. It's a sarcastic or witty look at modern life, and then that issue's done, and you lump them all together, and it tells a large story. Whereas this one, for me at least, with reading issue #1 of Snagglepuss, it's very focused on a particular event, as opposed to having these cute things about it, a bunch of different stuff. And so it's a different kind of a read than Flintstones. I mean, Flintstones was great because it was really easily to consume, I thought, because of that kind of single issue, kind of a way of being told and whatnot. But yeah. Totally it. That's cool. So we flipped the imaginary 3-sided coin, came up DC. We're going to talk DC books. What do we want to talk first? The comic that we can't see the cover.
Yes,
you can't see what's on the damn cover. I love the cover as far as the elements and whatnot. Just to talk about the cover briefly, Batman wearing vestments, so he's it's clearly some holy figure. But I watched everybody's video of I got this book, and it's like what? It's a brownish black cover.
I'm praying to Batman right now.
you really can't. That's what I'm just saying. Is you really can't see him on it. At any rate,
how much Hail Marys can Batman give me?
Exactly. So, at any rate, Mother Panic and Batman, Milk Wars, Part 2. What do we think?
I loved this issue. I really did. I loved it. First of all, I'm loving Violet's mother more and more. She is so freaking crazy. Like nothing she says makes sense, and I'm okay with it more and more. We get further and delve more into the story, and we get more vignettes of her mother. Like the opening scene where she's with her mother in her mother's wing, where they're about to drink tea, and the tea leaves are saying "Help me." And it's pretty much a gather house kids saying, "Hey, come help me. We need you. We need you to come help us right now." And that right there was like so creepy and eerie. And it's her signal to go and find out what the hell is transpiring. And then next thing you know, we have her going to where she burned the old gather house down, but now is rebuilt. And she finds out that these kids, instead of being, tattered and torn uniforms, are now wearing Sidekick uniforms. And a set of the old Gather House employees being you know, in the old, you know, type of regalia that they used to be in. They're now one wearing Batman full-on suit, the bat suit, and then the other one wearing like a nun-esque kind of like all-white suit kind of situation, like, you know, and she's like, you know, she's confused. She's like, what's going on here? And, you know, taking her on a tour saying, hey, we're cleansing these kids of their sins. We're transforming them. We're making them whole. We're making them into you know, law-abiding citizens that are productive. They're helping people out, you know, like just making them clean and milk hearty. We're, you know, honey of the earth, you know, just like, you know, fusing the biblical with the milk, and the, you know, and it's all like very interconnected with this whole milk war thing that the Doom Patrol situation set up, and I'm loving it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I am in love right now. Like everything, I'm just soaking it all up like milk and honey. I'm lapping it up.
We all are.
I was like, give me more. I just love it. I loved it. I love this whole entire issue. It was like the issue of the week. I didn't want to read anything else after this, to be honest. But I did read other things, but yeah. I like this issue the most.
Right on. Mike, what did you think?
I was actually the opposite, milk toast. The interaction that Violet had with Batman, because he wasn't really Batman. If it was the real Batman, I think we would have had a better one, because like when he comes back and visits her at her house, I like that interaction. I didn't want this I am the way, I am the light Batman. It was just the dialogue just seemed so weird to me. I enjoyed everything because it continued and filled out the Mother Panic storyline better. You know, like, but when he comes and asks, you know, is it magic? Is it meta? Is
she meta or magic to her mother? Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed all that. I enjoyed, you know, his discussion about the cybernetic eye. It's just her getting to the house. It didn't feel like this was a very good storyline for me for anybody that would have picked this up that didn't know Mother Panic. It was just, it was a little too milky white for me.
So you think,
Mike?
so you think this was harder to pick up on if you weren't deep in Mother Panic versus the Justice League Doom Patrol one, where if you weren't steeped in Doom Patrol, that you wouldn't be in trouble there? I mean, the only reason you weren't in trouble on that one is because you heard me and Russ talk so much about Doom Patrol, right?
That is correct. Yes,
I still love you, Mike.
I know.
I still love you.
No, and maybe that was the problem with the other one, is because the art in it was so sharp and beautiful that if I'm trying to think of who the if Tommy Lee Edwards was doing the art on this, that would have lifted it up for me.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Ty Templeton is done fine. He's just, for this one, I needed more, especially for the price.
Yeah. It's very clean. His art style is a very, very clean.
I can agree on that.
A very clean kind of art style, and most of Mother Panic has been edgy, more of an edgy, you know, a darker kind of a look to it. I mean, even the Sean Crystal stuff has been, you know, because he has kind of a weird caricature. Cartoon style.
Then Travis, who was the artist I told you I liked the most? Who was that?
I don't know, because Lee Edwards was the guy who did the most of it, who's done most of the work. Then you've got Leon. Was it Leon?
Leon. It was Leon.
Yeah. Who did most of the arc with the body bag killer? I
would have liked him to do this issue.
Right. Well, either one of them would have been cool for a Mother Panic book. I do think that that Ty Templeton's art with the coloring on this is closer to the Nick Darrington art that was on the JLA Doom Patrol issue. I think it's a little closer to that style. But yeah, I mean, I can totally see that. I really dug the book. I love the whole Looney Tune. To start out with Batman being warped, just like Superman was warped, like the Justice League was warped by the whole milk. his version of it. You know, he's got this religious thing. I love the whole conversation about that you're taking the broken kids and fixing them. Yeah, that's where he finally gets busted out of the milk.
Can we just also too mention the old throwback on how when he was warped by the milk? Do you see the throwback on his uniform? How he looks? Do you know what Batman uniform that is?
What's
the
that?
Old bat uniform. Do you recognize that? That's old school Bat right there.
Yeah,
that's like super old school Bat.
Yeah,
that is old school. Like that was so like I was so happy to see that. I was like that was like, and that really like threw me back for like that's why I love this issue. It was so much throwbacks.
But one of the things I loved about it is, for me, is it's clearly a Mother Panic story. You know, where she's dealing with this, you know, whatever reality's been changed by the retcon people and whatnot, even though we don't deep dive into the retcon part of it, just the milk aspect of it. One of the things I really dug is they continue in the story, whether they make sense or not, whether I understand them, they drop in these panels of imageries, you know, the cracked mug of milk, the broken swan, I mean, I love the fact that they continue that Mother Panic thing. Not that, like I said, not that we've been able to make sense of any of it to this point. That, in my opinion, we've all got our own theories on what we think it's supposed to be and whatnot. But you know what that really is, I don't know. I am hoping to talk to Jody Houser at the end of the month. So she's the writer on the book, one of the creators of Mother Panic. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get you know, what this is, or I'll get you should interpret it how you want to. I thought the issue was a lot of fun. I was happy to spend the money on it. I have a question for y'all. So we know that after this is done and in late March, the book is coming back, but it's Mother Panic Gotham AD or some silliness is what it's called. And our understanding is it's chucked into the future 10 years or whatever, or it's a reality without Batman. I'm not 100% square on exactly what it's going to be, but it's something along those lines. Is this the catalyst for that? They get sucked into the cybernetic eye. They go and do whatever they have to help Cave Carson with the retcon. And when the retcon's all done, when she comes back, she doesn't come back to square one. She comes back to a new book and a new Gotham that's missing pieces of it. Do you think?
Yeah. You know, I could see that.
Yeah?
I could see that. I could totally see that. I could totally see that going down.
I thought it was interesting. An interesting thought if that's what
yeah, that's interesting. Theory.
Maybe that's what creates the separation so she can do what she needs to in Gotham without it affecting Batman and all the Bat family that's there.
Right. But that'll be unfortunate in some ways. I hope she doesn't lose her cast of characters because her mom is awesome with her kind of addled way to be kind of an oracle of sorts. You know,
I feel like her mom. You don't think her mom would pass eventually?
I hope not.
If they're moving on to the future, I mean, if she come back, and then her mom, the whole rose, the whole signifying her mom.
I'm worried about this book set into the future, 10 years in the future, because I don't know how it advances her storyline, and I'm invested in her, in Violet's personal storyline, in trying to deal with the Gathering House people, with her own personal demons and all of those aspects, and dealing with her mom having her disabilities, whatever that is, that's been around for a long time. Her early onset Alzheimer's or whatever you want it to be, call it, or whatever.
Dementia.
And my worry is if they advance this book like 10 years or whatever, all that stuff goes away. And if all of that stuff goes away and she has suddenly actually become honestly a crime fighter, because right now she denies it. She's fighting crime, but it's all personal. Most of it's personal. She kind of gets caught up in some other hero stuff. And in this issue, Batman kind of hints at the fact that, you may not say you're a hero, but I see what you're doing, and you're helping making Gotham better. That makes you a hero. But at any rate, if they take all that stuff away from her, that's all she's got left is just to be a superhero. Then she really is another version of Batwoman or Batman. And then she's not interesting. I think she's interesting because her backstory and her view of the world is different. If you take that away, which is, like I said, why I'm worried about the book that's coming up. If you take all those elements away, and her mom is a piece of that element. If you take that element away, then
you can drive her to, yeah.
Well, I don't think it drives her to anything. I just think it makes her boring. It makes her uninteresting. She wears white instead of black and beats people up like Batman does. I already have a bunch of Batman books. I don't know that I need to.
Well, yeah. I mean, nobody wants her mom to go away. I mean, I like her mom, but if they're again, that's why I feel like they shouldn't drive this 10 years in the future, because it feels like her mom is already, very, advanced in dementia, and how I don't know, health wise, I can see her mom being really far gone 10 years. I mean, but this is a comic, and they could prolong it, and they can.
Nope. I think it's a very bad decision if they get rid of mom.
It is a bad decision. I'm just saying, what are they going to do to make this work?
Well, if it's retcon, if retcon is manipulating reality, they can move reality however they want to. The beauty of comic books, and it won't matter because it's just solidly this now.
Yeah. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying parts of Gotham get advanced, but her and her circle don't.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's a pill you want to swallow. That they just make it that easy. Oh, look, this is how we get rid of.
That would be very easy.
This is how we get rid of Batman, but we keep all the toys we want. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll find out next month.
I just don't think it's wise that they're even going that far into the future with any of these young animal characters. Personally, in my opinion, I think why they have to go this far.
For me, unless it's an enclosed book, with a finite ending, jumping any book 10 years in the future, it's hard. I mean, even like Saga, for instance, it's taken over its 40 issues or whatever we're on now. It has, after so many issues, it'll jump like 3 or 4 years into the, you know what I mean? Hazel goes from being a baby to being a toddler to being a young girl.
It felt right though when they did it, and it didn't feel.
It's still jarring. I still read it. I still read it, and I go. Wait, there's all this time that something cool could happen, and I missed out on.
True. It was jarring, but it wasn't like you were like, oh, like it wasn't like you were so flabbergasted to a point where you were like, damn, I'm not gonna read this book anymore. But or I'm questioning this creator so much. But I feel like you're gonna question that this creative team now at some point. This is gonna.
I'm not.
What? Okay.
Not
okay.
I'm gonna get the next book and I'm gonna go. Oh, it's so lovely. It's so lovely.
Well, you know what?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm with you. Yeah. I am suspicious.
I'm very suspicious
of this book jumping forward.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna read it.
I'm gonna read it too, but I don't like change a lot.
You're already hating on the book.
I am.
You haven't even read it. You're already hating on it.
I don't like this. I don't like all this advanced time, and I just want it to be.
I don't think any of us do. I don't think there's any of us that do.
Can't it just be 5 years? Why has to be 10?
Yeah. Brandon's in the comments, Makama, and he says the worst in recent memory was the unfollow. That jump was so bad, and I totally agree with you. The Vertigo book. Well, yeah, supposedly. I don't know. But yeah, the sales were so bad on it, and they just decided to advance the plot line to the very end, and literally they jumped like, I don't know, whatever, 10 years or whatever it was, and that was horrific. It killed that story so bad. Yeah.
So are you think they'll still make the show out of that?
I have no idea.
You should ask creators on Twitter. Ask them about it.
Yeah. That doesn't matter to me. I don't care if it's a show or not. I really like the comic, and I wish the comic would have sold. You go ask them.
I didn't read the book, so I feel like it would be inappropriate.
Right. What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say that I really felt that Violet should have reacted more when her mother responded to who Batman was, because I was like, I didn't believe that Violet knew until that moment. Unless, during this story where the Reverend Father Batman explained how he got his powers with Alfred coming through the window with a glass of milk.
Yes.
That milk was really good too, I have to say.
Yes, sucks you right in. I was thinking.
Does she want to lap that milk, Travis?
Yes, I did. I wanted to lap it. Not suckle it. I wanted to lap it up.
You would. You didn't want to suckle the milk. I'm
looking because I thought at some point I love the fact that when the stuff starts getting weird, she grabs her head and goes, "Drugs are bad." And she's trying to figure out what she took the night before, because clearly, I thought she called him Bruce at some point before that, but I guess not. I can't find it if she did. So,
all right.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and just because
I was gonna say otherwise. I just hate the idea that everybody knows that Batman is Bruce.
Well, everybody does anymore. Well, they know she knows he's Bruce. She doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne.
I want to say something. How in the hell does everybody know she's Violet? That was another thing that kind of bothered me. Because she's just taking... What?
Batman knows who everybody is.
Well, I know he knows, but I'm saying she was just taking her mask off with anybody. Like, they knew, like, she just took her mask off, and it just was like, Violet, like, no anonymity. Like, what was like, he just like.
Well, I'm thinking weird. Things have gotten weird enough, that clearly the key was spiked. So I don't think she cares at this point.
She doesn't. She's badass. I just love it.
Oh, the other thing I really loved. Okay, so in her own book, it's a mature title. So she drops the F-bomb and says shit and whatever else she wants to say, right? So in this, because it is for teens, rated T for teens, they do the old weird symbols. And the first time she goes, "This is fucking nuts." It's like bloop bloop, the stupid sigil, and she's like, "Oh, they took my language too." And she's complaining about that. And then she gets, after she breaks Batman, and she's back to thinking things are normal, and Batman shows up actually as Batman. And she goes to swear, and then it's a black redacted box. She still can't swear right. She's like, they still got my language. I love that. It's a kind of a subtle, funny, she still stays in character, because she's foul-mouthed as all could be, right? In her own book. But that's the kind of a sneaky way for them to get around keeping it okay for the kiddies to read. So that was pretty funny. Pretty funny. Alrighty. Anything else you want to say about that? I loved it. Yeah. Me and you liked it. Mike was not in. So, Mike, does that mean you're not going to get the one that comes out next week, which I think is Shade the Changing Girl and Wonder Woman?
I will flip through it, and the art will pretty much be the deciding factor.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know who's doing the art on that one. I'll tell you. That is the next one, right?
Yes, to best of my knowledge, that's the next one.
Okay. And then we get the Cave Carson one, and then we get the Doom Patrol Justice League to caps it all off, right?
I know you can't wait till Shade, the changing woman now.
Well, she'll become a woman afterwards, yes.
Yes.
Cool. Righty. Am I the only one left with DC books then?
Did I read another DC book?
So you're gonna spend the rest of the night listening to me talk DC books. Anyway, I'm gonna roll on with Batman then. Go ahead.
I read a friend's version of that, so I did read that issue.
Okay, so if anybody remembers last issue of this 2 weeks ago, I was a bit concerned because I wasn't concerned. I was suspicious as to exactly what was going on. They kind of set up this potential, oh my God, there's gonna be a kiss between Batman and Wonder Woman, and it's gonna wreck. Of course, that'll be the thing that wrecks the marriage because Wonder Woman's the other woman, which is of course going to be horrible treatment of the Wonder Woman character for her to be the other woman, in my opinion. Well, it doesn't happen. I mean, they're close. No, it's like both of them have their people. I really like that whole part of the conversation. Meanwhile, in the regular world, Catwoman is basically saying she's going to freaking kill the gentleman now that she's found out that like every minute is years for Batman and Wonder Woman, and she's freaking out. She learns something about love because the gentleman wants to at least meet his wife and have a conversation with his wife and whatnot. So we get some of that. I really liked that too. I actually really like the whole thing. I like the story. They do make it back. They're very weary. They kind of both break down at one point and pick each other up. they show up back in the regular world, and you know, Catwoman kind of goes, so, and he's like, you know, and he's like, I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good either. And she's like, well, you're gonna have to learn to be better and whatnot. And basically she makes the comment, look, the next time the gentleman calls and wants help, next time it'll be Batman and Catwoman that go to fight. And Wonder Woman's like, oh, that'll be interesting with all three of us there. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I liked the, you know, the treatment. The cliffhanger was, you know, kind of a, you know, a red herring, which is fine. That's what comic books and the cliffhanger should be, you know, to some degree, should tease that sort of stuff. So I'm happy I wasn't one of the people that completely lost my mind over the idea of Batman and Wonder Woman. I don't know. I enjoyed it. What do you think, Mike? Not having read the one before it,
the discussion of pets also added to the nice flushing out of the characters, especially because they were at a point of breaking down. Yeah,
there's the conversation. They're sitting there eating, I don't know, fried worm or something, and it's like, you know, and Batman's like, I miss my dog. I miss Ace. She's like, what? Okay, whatever. And then out of the blue, she's like, I miss my kangaroo too. And he's like, you have a kangaroo? You know, and she's like, yeah, I don't talk about it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, her name is Jumpa. Sounds nice. She is nice. And I miss her. Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, I know that Bruce would be able to hold out to a certain extent because from what we've read previously of his character, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of deep loves to the best of my knowledge.
No.
But when they broke down, I mean, that's when I expect the kiss, you know, after each one of them is given up, but been lifted up by the other, because that's it. They had to switch that position. And that's what just made me think that the kiss would have happened.
Right. Yeah. Well, one thing that's funny about this, if he reads this book, you'll notice that up in the corners of the time in the other dimension, you get the realm year 10, for instance, which I love that picture. And then it goes year 24, and then it like goes year 19. That's a mistake. That's actually a mistake in the book. Tom King said, because somebody asked him about that year 31, how it hops around. It's supposed to be in chronological order. It's supposed to jump that many years, but it's not supposed to go backwards in time. Yeah. He said that it was like some sort of computer glitch, and then it got put into the final of it, and nobody caught it, kind of a thing. That it will be corrected in the trade. So it'll actually go in chronological order. It'll be 10, 19, 24, 30, 31, or however many years they ultimately end up being there. 37. They're actually 37 years they fought together. So, but so
I also think it's weird.
It's a mistake.
Yeah, the idea that if they talk about how long it is, you know, that time is different there. Mm-hmm. I would expect them to age then. That was my only thing that I was upset by too.
I think you're unaging while you're there. Clearly.
All right.
That's why the gentleman stays the same age as he does. He doesn't age over that time, even though he's been there for a millennia or whatever already. I guess that's the only logical answer to that. Comic book science and physics, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the dynamics. I liked Wonder Woman's ultimate take on Catwoman. You know, that you're actually probably a really good person, and clearly you're really good for Bruce, and so that's a good thing. I just like that. I like how the people I would be considered Bruce's closest friends are ultimately nothing but supportive of the whole idea of this, you know. And I dig that. I dig that there's not anybody being, you know, shallow or stupid about it. So I'm just curious. Are they actually going to get married? I just have a hard time envisioning that, but. So how's it going to get wrecked? That's what I just keep thinking. How are they going to wreck it?
Keep playing with their emotions for another couple months. I'm sure that won't they, you know, all the way up to the day of.
Well, it's not bothering me. I'm just curious. From a storytelling aspect, you know, what it's going to be. I'm enjoying this for as long as however long it lasts and whatnot. But
yeah, because that was issue 30. Was that correct?
40.
40. So do you think issue 50 will be the wedding? I mean, are they going to try and hit a number?
Oh, I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
It's
I mean,
a
I
very
know
Marvel thing to do.
Well, that's
so
a
I don't know if
DC.
DC. Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't know
DC's
if
done. DC does that kind of stuff too. I mean, if they can hit landmarks, they will. I mean, because I know that there's stories that are in between that are, that aren't pushing the timeline of a marriage, and I don't know that we've heard a date. I don't know if like a date's been set. They're engaged to be married. I don't know if there's actually a, June 24th, we're getting married. I don't think there's actually a.
Yes. Sent save the date cards for
right.
All those.
I noticed it in the comments that Brandon is saying, I didn't think people are allowed to get married at DC. Sorry, still bitter about Batwoman.
Yeah.
That was the New 52 Batwoman, and they literally had a written down agenda that said that their heroes couldn't be married because then they would not be edgy and cool if they were married. And that does suck that that Kate Kane, Batwoman, and Maggie Sawyer could not get married. That was utter bullshit. Because that would have been the perfect marriage, perfect place for the characters. Even to now, I think characters can be really interesting and dynamic being married. But they're done with that. They're done with that agenda. That went away with the New 52. So that's why Superman is married. So yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the King stuff right now. The Jolene Jones art is awesome. I looked at original artwork, and the Batman pages are way more expensive than the other characters. Just saying. So I won't be picking up any Batman art by Jolene Jones. So next up, Batman White Knight, issue number 5. We're more than halfway through the 8 issues. The story is okay for me. There's elements of it that are cool, and elements of it are, yeah. I really like Harley Quinn in this book, the actual Harley Quinn, not Neo Joker, the second-rate Harley Quinn who's turned herself into Neo Joker. I don't care one way or another about her, but actual Harley Quinn, she's interesting because she just really kind of wants her original pudding back. And we find out that she worked with Batman a little bit, and Batman admits to being easy on her because of some of their dynamics and some of that stuff and whatnot. And those conversations I thought were really interesting in the book. And up to this point, I haven't found many conversations in this book that intriguing. I would say that Sean Murphy art is his strong point, and maybe dialogue isn't his strongest point. The art is still amazing in it. There's a great 2-page spread in this of a whole bunch of cars, them racing around in basically commercial Batmobiles. And Sean Murphy is a car nut, so he does cars really well. So you get this great dynamic spread page of all the new. This is the group. I can't remember what their actual acronym is, but they're working for the police department. They're basically being Batmans that work for the police department. Batman's the only person that won't side with the police department. The rest of them have decided to. And Batman gets in the way. There's some weird elements at the end of this that the Wayne family had some connection to Nazis back in the day, which I don't know how I feel about that, especially with the current climate that America is at least in. Having a Nazi element, it is really strange. But there's some connection to like Mr. Freeze and all of that too, I think. And some giant death ray gun at the very end of it that's going to pop up, I guess. So, but art's great. Story's fine in this. I'm not as blown away as some people are by it.
So what are your thoughts on if there is the adult version of it?
I think that's silly. So that's called salesmanship on Sean Murphy's part. Hey, I can sell this, and then I can get people to buy.
Okay.
Well, not just pages. I can get people to buy the regular trade, this version of it, and then I can put out an R version where we draw the nipples back in. And there's not a lot. He's admitted himself there's not a lot that they've asked him to tone back or dial back or whatever. So it's not like there's a whole nother book out there. to me it just rings of how can I make more money?
Capitalism, yeah.
Right. Because he has said, Sean Murphy has said on Twitter that nothing that DC has asked him to do is truly infringed upon his artistic whatever. It's a business, and he's there, doing the work and whatnot. I think the things they asked him to change are a bit silly, but then I have a more liberal view on nudity, for instance, than maybe what the Warner Brother franchises is comfortable with. I don't know. But no, I don't. I'm not getting it. There's nothing there that changes the story or makes enough difference. 3 or 4 panels does not change a book for me for me to spend the money on that. All so right. I guess whatever. I'm not mad if they do it, but I don't see the point.
All right.
But there are fans that will buy both. So I guess from that aspect, maybe it's smart of them to do. So, let's see. Superman. So this is, I don't know, fill-in story or whatever by James Robinson. I'm not excited by. The Last Days Part 1. So there's at least 2 issues of this storyline. History of Destruction. Doug Mankey's doing the art with Mendoza doing the inking. So the art is great in this. There's some great facial expressions in it that I really enjoyed. So art-wise, it was a fun book. Story. The basic premise of this is it's the anniversary of the death of Krypton. Superman is having a conversation with Superboy about that, got kind of memories and that sort of thing. And they're hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude, and the Superman computer goes off. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, it goes off, and he's got it set to something that if it detects any planets in the kind of known universe that are going through the same death throes as Krypton, he will be alerted. And suddenly on the anniversary, he's alerted this other planet's going to blow up. So him and John go off to this other planet to save it. And it doesn't work out really well because the planet is extremely religious and in their faith, and they believe that the planet's going to blow up. It's basically their God's will, and no one should mess with it. So, but yeah, I don't know that it. Anyway, so they go down to rescue it. Superman's offended by the fact they're going to let the planet blow up when he could possibly save it. Does not respect the religion. Gets in a big fight with them, and that's kind of the comic. Like I said, so the art is great, and I like the art in it. But I don't, I love pages like this. It's just fun, awesome, joyous Superboy kind of thing. But it does not, like I love John's contorting faces as he's trying to explain why he should get to go in space. And it cracks me up as he's trying to come up with all these reasons why he should get to do it and stuff. And I don't know, that part was all fun. Whatever. It feels like, afterthought kind of story while we wait to get back to the final arc of what Tomasi and Gleason will end up doing on it. So, and then I'm still torn with Bendis coming on, what I want to do there. I haven't decided what I think of that yet. So looking at the comments, and Luke, Gotham Central, he says, I'll double dip on White Knight, but I'll only buy one version of the trade. You're right. I think the differences between the 2 potential different trade types won't impact the overall story. Yeah, so you have to decide which one you want to get. I may get a hardback version of the book, some nice bound, really good, maybe oversized, hopefully that kind of thing, art kind of stuff. That would be cool. But yeah, I'm not going to get the trades. I mean, I'll get it in a hardback version, but on a softback version of it at some point. But at any rate,
right. And Luke, it was sorry to hear about your books this week, and Travis, I know you missed out on one, so.
Right. Well, I know it's coming. It just, sometimes they only get shipped so many from Diamond, and they ship them out in the order that they were ordered. So if you ordered on the very beginning of the month, your order's in first. You'll get your book shipped first. If you wait like I do, I wait until the last second to order my comics. I'm at the tail end of the ordering. So if Diamond shorts them on how many books they were supposed to get, I know I'm not going to get it till the next week. It'll get kicked to the next week. That's just how that's how it works. I'm assuming that if I was at a comic book store and 20 of us at the comic book store were getting, Batman White Knight, and Diamond only shipped 10. They can only sell 10. The people who ordered first, who were on the poll first, I would assume, would be the people who would get it first, or the people who come in and buy their comics all the time would get it first, and then the others they wouldn't. And Luke's asking me they could still alert the customers, right? I suppose they could. In the past, when it's happened to me in the past, I asked about it once. They told me that was the reason behind it, which makes sense to me. And I just haven't bothered after that. I basically go in to my account. I look and see to make sure I ordered it, that there was no accident. And as long as it's on my order history, it says this is processing, I don't sweat it. If it goes by 2 weeks and I don't get it, then I'm in contact with them. But there's a difference between getting my invoice and it's on the invoice, but the comic wasn't in my package. That is a packaging error. It needs to be corrected now. Yeah. If it's not on my invoice, that means they haven't shipped it to me yet. Like I said, then I go and look, and if it's still in process, that means I'm going to get it. I'm just going to get it next week or whatever, kind of thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. The first time it happened to me, I was all over emailing and going, what the hell, is up with this? Everybody else got it and I didn't. Because that seems to be something that does happen occasionally, I don't sweat it, because I know, because they sent me a thing saying we didn't get all of them and they got sent out. And I sent them an email back saying, well, how come I didn't get mine and other people got theirs? And they're like, well, we go in the order that you ordered. So if you ordered at the beginning of the month and committed early to the book, you got it and you didn't. That's how come when DC did those first lenticular covers back in the New 52, and they only had X amount of them. I ordered mine late, and they sent me an email at that point saying we may not be able to get them all for you. And that's when I just canceled them all and just didn't get my DC books that month, and I was fine. But it was because I always wait until the end, and I know I'm rolling the dice for that part of it. So I don't know. It would be nice. It would be nice if they had a system to send us an email saying, hey, we didn't get all of them. So if you don't get yours this week, you'll get it the next week or whatever. But I think it's less them than it is Diamond doing their piss poor distribution job first. And it would be better customer service, I agree, if Discount Comic Service then sent us an email saying, hey, if they don't send it to us individually, they send out a bulk one saying, we didn't get all of our books, and so some of you may not get them this week, but get them next week. So
yeah, all right,
yeah. Anyway, I got 2 more books to talk about. 2 big, massive books. The first one is Swamp Thing, Winter Special. Yes, this is an $8 book for 80 pages. So what? Let's do the math. That means the book it would be the equivalent of buying 4 $2 books. So money-wise, it's a good deal, right? If you're only paying $2 a book there, I mean, name another. Well, name a Jason Fabok arted book that has for $2. There isn't one. So about half, 3/4 of the book is a Tom King, Jason Fabok story, Swamp Thing story, which was good. It was interesting. I liked it. It was kind of a hunting kind of a story. Swamp Thing is running through the winter snow with a child that he's trying to save. The winter is affecting him because, of course, he's a plant, so he's having memory problems. Some winter monsters trying to get him, and they go through all kinds of harrowing kind of things. And there's kind of a rough ending to the ending. Not rough as in bad, but as rough as in some choices that have to be made. And it makes me just think that there should be a Swamp Thing ongoing book, that they're just dropping the ball, not having one. I just think you can tell a different kind of story, not a superhero story, but a different kind of story of Swamp Thing that I think DC could do. But I also know the last Swamp Thing series during the New 52, once once Scott Snyder was off the book, it struggled, not because it was written poorly, because I think actually, quite honestly, I enjoyed Charles Soule's Swamp Thing better than Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing, but it didn't have the name recognition that people were following. So speaking of ongoing, this has the last works of Len Wein, who died last year. He was going to be doing an ongoing Swamp Thing with Jones. So the back of this has all the Jones art with no dialogue. They didn't put the dialogue in because Len died before he could do the final pass on the dialogue. So they chose not to put it in because they didn't want to put in something that might have been an error. So instead, we get all the art for the first issue. And then after that, we get the script of Len telling Kelly Jones what the arc should look like. And that's it. So we don't get and his scripts are art first with a sense of what's going on, but no script. So we have no idea exactly what the conversation is for it. So that was kind of interesting, but odd at the same time. So you get this book that, you get some fun pictures, but you have no idea. It has Solomon Grundy in it. So it's some, great, Kelly Jones Swamp Thing art, but it's all art. It's a silent book because it has you get this great Solomon Grundy in it, which would have been cool. Solomon Grundy snatching up a little baby. I'd be curious to see what that was all about. And then at the very end, of course, how do you hook people into reading Swamp Thing? What character do you put in Swamp Thing? What character do you put in any DC book to hook people into reading it or to trick people into buying it? Exactly. The very end of the story, bum, 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 Batman shows up because something happened in Gotham. I think the Solomon Grundy baby snatching was in Gotham. So great looking book. And then, like I said, you get this whole kind of a description of what the 20 pages would have been like and whatnot. So
I read the first 10 pages of it.
Yeah.
I love Swamp Thing. My favorite. I was collecting back issues of the Rick Vetch.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I'm a huge Rick Vetch fan. So that's.
But but Jason Fabok doing Swamp Thing in the snow and whatnot with was great. Of course, I should mention, if I can find offhand.
I usually have time to read a whole 80 page.
Sure. Well, I was happy and surprised because I got through it. Kind of a thing. I'm trying to find where the colorist at, because the colorist needs an attaboy. Colored by Brad Anderson, because a lot of snow and whatnot. To get those layers and stuff is I think impressive. So I did enjoy this. So the other big DC book I got was yet another 80 pager. This one's $10 as opposed to $8. So it's $2 more for the same amount of pages. But still, if you break it down, it's $2.25 an issue if we looked at it as it being the equivalent of 4 comic books and whatnot. Luke is saying that Kelly Jones's Batman ears, yikes. Yes, because he always does the 6 foot giant pointy ears, which I don't know.
I like those.
I think it's fun. It's fun when Kelly Jones does it. I don't want anyone else to do it, but for whatever reason, it's fine when he does it because he does everything kind of misshapen that way.
Yeah.
So anyway, Young Monsters in Love. Of course, what's on the cover does not happen inside. Swamp Thing does not steal away Madame Frankenstein from Frankie. I love this book. This was great. I mean, the DC books, quite honestly, other than I did like the Milk Wars one and Batman was kind of fun. I really enjoyed the hell out of this book. For me, well worth the $10. I get that dropping $10 at one time is expensive. But I love the stories in it. At the beginning, we get another Kelly Jones, and there's those ears, those bad ears. Drawn book. It's a Man-Bat story of him struggling with his addiction to the juice and trying to get Francine back, his wife. There's a Solomon Grundy story in here, which is all right. with Solomon Grundy going back to the grave of his wife and putting flowers there, and Superman helping him do it, which is kind of cute and whatnot. The Be My Valentine was also a Paul Dini written Dead Man story, which was fine. But I really liked our Visibility, loved to death, because of course I'm a huge Doom Patrol fan, and Visibility was a Monsieur Mala and the Brain story, which are of course two villains from Doom Patrol. I love the art in it. So it's written by Stephen Orlando, which, I like some of his weird stuff. Nick Klein is the artist on it. So we get this. Here's Maggie Sawyer. Mala and the Brain have taken over a LexCorp building. They're holding hostages, and they're basically saying, we don't want anything other than you to leave us alone. Maggie Sawyer shows up, and she's trying to be the crisis person to try and talk them through whatever it is. We get basically a kind of a history of their relationship, of Mullah slowly gaining human or higher level intellect, and the death of the body of the Brain, and him going in the Brain, a little bit of Doom Patrol fighting there. And we find out that basically it's their anniversary of when this whole thing first started. And and the Brain has no optic nerves right now. The Brain sees everything digitally. The Brain hates humans, and all basically the Brain is just translating, 1100111100, and LexCorp has a neural optic device that will allow the Brain to hook eyes back up to the Brain, so the Brain can actually truly see. And that's all they want. All they really want is on their anniversary for the Brain to really be able to see Mala, because these two are in love. And I really liked the story. It was a great story. They end up getting it. It's all happy at the end of it. And it's a sweet, here we get this smiling key. You have to like it, Mike. It's got a monkey in it.
I know, and I actually love those two. There was an Outsiders trade I recently bought with them in it.
Nice.
And it is as a duo, I love that villain group. Having that on the cover would have made me buy it even at the 10 price. So I may be going back next week and getting that one.
The Frankenstein story in here, this is an awesome story too. It's basically, they meet up. Anybody who and this story, they take right off the Frankenstein story. They take right off from the from basically what happened in Frankenstein: Agents of Shade. The fact that they are not husband and wife anymore. Basically they've got all this trauma between them, but of course they both work for the government. They're doing their jobs, so they go about doing their jobs, and it's like, and Man of Frankenstein is saying, you want to talk about something, and he's like, oh yeah, I wanted to, and then they get called to duty, and you find out that Frankenstein had a letter that he had written for her, basically confessing his love, because his words can't work right for him to say it. He admits to his flaws, and he admits to all the ways that he loves her and her touch and all this wonderful stuff and whatnot. And he ends up with a broken heart at the end of it because she has somebody else. And he ends up never giving her the letter and whatnot. And I like the romance and the broken heartness of that. There's a pretty decent, a Raven story in here that I really liked. Where she does some ghost busting and ends up having kind of a prom dance with a ghost that's trying to leave but can't seem to get detached. So that was kind of fun to get that. I like the art that was in it too, quite a bit. There was a lot of stories in here, like the demon story written by Phil Hester, art by Merciful Cola, and colors by Mike Spencer was gorgeous. I love this art. The hot oranges and yellows and the really cool grays and blues as Demon crushes through hell to get this device that lets you see your loved one. There's some really broken up kind of a story there that's pretty traumatic too, and I absolutely loved it. Also, I would read an ongoing, I read an ongoing Demon by anybody probably, but ongoing Demon by this group would be awesome too. I just really, like I said, there were a lot of stories here that I just really enjoyed for being an anthology kind of a book. It was cool. The last book in here is a Creature Commando book, a Creature Commando story, which I also like the Creature Commandos. The art was by Cray. John McCrae, who I love. He did Mythic, which I really love that book, but written by James Robinson, so it had some kind of James Robinson elements, esseness to it that I'm not a fan of. So, but as a whole, I really enjoyed it. I was surprised because, I mean, I get it at a deep discount. I mean, it only cost me half the price everybody else is paying for it, but it was still kind of like, ooh, wow, that's a spendy book, especially to land on the same week as the Winter Special. But for me, it was enjoyable. It was worth the money for me. I had fun with it. So, and that's it for my DC books. I don't know if there's any DC news. I haven't heard of any, other than I think I heard that Bendis's and Omin's book Powers is coming to DC. They're going to continue the Powers book, and now it's at DC. So Powers has been at Image. It's been at Oni Press, I think, briefly did some copies of it, and it's been at, is it Icon? Is that what the Marvel kind of like side imprint, I think is what's called?
Sure was Icon for a little while.
So yeah, so that title has kind of been everywhere. Yeah,
it's been around.
Yeah. So I don't know what that'll be like. I don't know if they're actually going to put out new work or they're just going to be reprinting it there now too, or exactly what's going on with that. But there has been some Powers books that I've really enjoyed. The earlier stuff, I'm really dove too deep into the older stuff. As far as other types of news, I don't know.
I don't have any.
Yeah. I think Mike is away at the moment, so if he has any, he'll let us know later on. Alrighty.
No info.
No info? Okay. So it was a slow week for news. That might be a good thing, though. In this day and age, it seems like that's a good thing.
Aren't they going to save it up now for Emerald City Comic-Con?
I would hope so. I know they're having panels. They have panels. DC has panels, I think, every day of the con, and it's my intention right now to make sure I go to all those to see what they're like. This year I had planned to try and make it to every Marvel one, and there are no Marvel ones.
Yeah.
Because you love Marvel.
Well, I'm always interested in what's going on, and right now with the kind of weird, to me they feel like they're very much in limbo. I would like to know what the battle plan is. What's Marvel's intentions? I have no idea. So anyway, speaking of Marvel, want to jump in and talk some Marvel books, Mike?
Yes, I grabbed Black Bolt. This was so good, in fact, that I did not realize that it was Ward on the book and not our previous artist.
Well, though, so Christian Ward is the regular artist.
It is, all right.
Is the regular artist, but Hans does a quarter of the book at the back.
All right, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a wonderful story where we see the evolution of Black Bolt going from being totally stunned to jumping into action, mainly thanks to
Titania.
Yeah, that she's, basically like, get in gear, let's do this. They go after the Inhumans, which that was a wonderful interaction and fight with them.
Oh, you're right. That first engagement. Yeah. Yeah.
And then once they hook the poison up to him and we get into this surreal connection with Medusa, I love that part of it.
Yeah, this is when he starts to hallucinate, or I'm assuming it's hallucination or whatever it is that's going on, this connection. This is the Stephanie Hans art, which is a wonderful painting, a type style of art on its own. And I think it matches up well with Christian Ward's to be different, but not jarringly different. Yeah.
And then I believe that we see is the next book after this. I believe that this goes to 12, and then the storyline spills into this Black Bolt and Medusa storyline.
Does it fall over into the Royals or whatever that's called? Is that what it does, or is it going to be its own book?
I believe it's separate. I'd have to look back and see what the name of it's going to be, because I think I believe Royals Rats. It's Inhumans Judgment Day. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. See,
it's at the back. It's at the back of this one.
Yeah, and I didn't order that. When does that come out? I wonder.
I think it comes out as soon as this one ends.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
See, and I didn't order it because for me, Inhumans Judgment Day sounds like some event, and you know, I just don't touch the events.
Yeah.
Who's doing the art on that?
I want to say Noto, Phil Noto.
Is that who that is?
I believe so.
It looks pretty good. So that, dang it! I may have to venture into the quasi comic book store and see if they have any, just to see what it's like. So this ends at issue 12. Is that right?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and of course, at the end of this issue, we get kind of a bum as Blinky gets kind of mutates.
Yeah.
Blinky gets gassed.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Part of the bomb gas from Black Bolt?
That's what I'm thinking. Is it's part of the stuff that was leaking, because you know they said that whatever that Blinky had a weird something about her made her Thanagarian like.
Yeah.
So I think that hopefully that mutation is a good thing, because could be brutal otherwise. So, and there's the cover for the next issue. Looks like they're being fed to the jailer is what it looks to me like, but
I thought that was the creature Blinky turns into.
But and eating herself, because I mean she's also hanging from the thing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is because there's Blinky. Right. She's all cute still with all her eyes. I'm still really digging the book.
Yep.
I mean, for me, cool. We're gonna get an ending at the same time. I could have read another 12 issues of it, quite frankly, because I'm digging it. So, and one less book in my Marvel reading pile.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So, and the other Marvel book that I picked up, and I did find out for sure this is the penultimate issue. So next issue is the final issue, issue 15 of Hawkeye. And it continues to be the great fun that it is. Kate Bishop and Clint, going to town against Madame Mask and all of her goons, and it's just kind of silliness. They come up with these battle plans that don't go exactly right, and they have to bail on them and come up with new battle plans. They think they got the drop on the bad guys, and they walk out of Kate Bishop's place thinking they're going to go and set up some ambush for the bad guys, and all the bad guys are standing outside of her place. So it all goes bad, but in a kind of comical, funny, gumshoey PI kind of a way that those kinds of stories do. So I really enjoyed it for that. There's a funny conversation here about Clint admits to having kissed, or rather, when Madame Mask was a clone looking like Kate Bishop, she kissed Clint, and he was talking about how disgusting it was. And Kate gets pissed off that that Clint thought it was a disgusting kiss, and he's like, "Wait, I was supposed to like that?" And she's like, "No, gross." It's like, and he's like, "Okay, is there any way I could have had this conversation and not have lost?" And she's like, "No, not in a million years." and she's like, "And please don't have this conversation in front of my dad." Her dad is a supervillain, but they've captured him because, of course, he was actually a prisoner of Madame Mask, but he is still a bad guy. So he's got like tape across his mouth, and he's all tied up, and he's back in the back of an Uber with the two Hawkeyes as they're having this conversation about having kissed but not kissed each other, and it's just all kind of funny stuff. Just a great, like I said, I really, really just love this book to pieces, and will be my monthly reading will be dimmed after next month when this book is gone, unless something else like Kelly Thompson shows up that's magic too, that I want to read. That's not a Gambit book. So
I was going to say that's the only thing she's doing there right now, isn't it?
Right now, but she's got that exclusive now, so I'm assuming that hopefully we'll see something else that's fun, because the book is just really well done in my opinion. So, alrighty, that's it for Marvel books, Marvel news.
Stanley went to the hospital and was okay and released.
Oh, okay. I guess I haven't been keeping up with that part. So, well, that's good, I guess. So we move on to some independent books.
Mm-hmm.
Rez, what do you want to talk about?
Paper Girls. My second favorite book of this week.
Where's my Paper Girls? There it is. Paper Girls. Issue number 20.
Wowzers, right?
Yeah.
Wowzers. I mean, so much going on. Okay, let's talk about what was it? What's his name? Was it Julep? Is it Jep? What's his name?
I don't know who we're talking about.
The grandfather. His name's grandfather, but his real name is Jep.
Is that what it is? I can just always remember him as grandfather, right?
Okay, yeah, his name's grandfather.
Here's current grandfather. As much as you can say current about a book that time hops, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Current grandfather. But okay. So the current grandfather now he's looking upon a picture and reminiscing about the prioress who was killed many.
Well, in the current timeline of our girls.
Yeah, and currently of the girl in Y2K. He's reminiscing about that timeline in Y2K when she was killed, and he is trying to get back to that timeline to stop that the disaster, or trying to stop them in their tracks. And while he's heading back to that time with his younger self, which is so confusing because it's all this time jumping. The two Tiffanys are talking to Mac and the other paper girls, about how they're going to go and somehow go into that one machine that they only can see, that only the two Tiffs can see, and try to get away from everyone, try to get away from all the people who are chasing them. So where they're trying to get away from all the people that are chasing them, this one cartoonist, they find out that she's actually trying to help them. She gets killed or vaporized along with Tiffany's old new husband.
Well, no, see, the new husband, when he got zapped, he got teleported someplace.
Well, she said he got teleported, but we don't know if that's for real.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I like the goth husband, so I'm going with he's still alive.
I like the goth husband too, but listen, I think she was lying to them. I think she was if you look at it, I think she was from a
sugarcoating it for the kids.
Yes, okay. I really do. I think she's sugarcoating it for them just to make it easier, a pill to swallow for them. I think she's just telling them that so they can go ahead and go with her. Because I mean, if you think about it, from the very time they met her, that woman was lying to them, or saying things to them to kind of get their trust. And she was a wacky person. She's very wacky, very weird and strange. I liked her. I liked her. I liked her now, but she was strange. So I don't think he was. I think he was vaporized.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think he's vaporized. I think, and they knew it, and they said, "Let's get the hell out of Dodge. Let's go ahead and find that machine that the other robots were fighting, and let's get out of here." And so the grandfather, he says, "Well, let's crush that machine. Let's crush that other machine." And right when he's about to step on it, they warp to another time, apparently 2000s, and it's not the 2000s we know.
Well, no, they warp where they think they're going to go backwards, and in reality, one of the navigators says that they've gone to the one place that they can't go. Yeah. Their future. They can't go to the future. The people are trying to kind of like manipulate and keep the future the way they want it. They can't go. I mean, the past. They can't go to the future. And our girls have actually leaped ahead of they've leaped to the current time. And she makes the comment, when they see these buildings, these fancy buildings, that's what I thought the year 2000 should look like. But it's actually, it's the grandfather's, his current timeline.
Yeah, we don't know we don't know what year the grandfather's current time is, though. That's what I'm saying. So it could be 2000s. It could be, we don't know. So, her saying that's what I thought the 2000s should look like. It could be 2000s for all we know.
No, there's a flying right there. That looks like a flying monorail. Monorail without tracks. Okay. Right. Next year, that'll be coming out next year.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Give me one. You know what? I just love this book, but I'm gonna tell you this. I complain about it every single time this book comes out. Every single time, every month it comes out. It reads so quickly. I love it. I love this book to death. Pieces. But don't you notice that when I'm reading it and it goes by, so I read it I digest it so fast. And that's not a bad thing, but it's just like I want more. It sucks because I really want more. Like I really want. So I feel like I need to switch to another format because
you'll get more. You'll get more in June. The next issue comes out in June.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You're thinking you're gonna wait for a trade?
It's so hard because I used to trade wait for Saga, you know. And that was hard. And that's why I started going to singles with Saga. And so I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. It's so hard.
No way I'm going to.
I got to think about this. I got to think about it.
For me, it'll be a double dip kind of a thing.
I have to think about this. I have to marinate.
When it's all said and done, I'll definitely go back and read all the singles. If I don't get some sort of deluxe fancy.
They have a hardcover out though. I was in Barnes Noble actually literally just the other day, and they have a hardcover out for Paper Girls, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, but I'm not going to get any hardcover until it's done, because after it's done, there may be some really nice version that comes out, and that's what I'll want to get.
See, and you know what, I'm gonna tell you this. I would love for them to have a huge tome, but Image does not do that. Even like the Saga ones, they're deluxe, but they're not like, you know, like now Why the Last Man. Now it took years, but they got some big, beautiful tomes. Yeah. It took a while, but I said, oh my God, they're so beautiful. But let me tell you, I hope to goodness they do that with the Saga and with the Paper Girls, because this is a good book, and I love Cliff Chang's illustrations. I love it, and the coloring, freaking phenomenal. I mean, like. Brian K. Vaughan, the man just knows how to pick his artists.
Yeah. He's written good enough stuff. He's written, it's not just him picking good artists. He's written good enough stuff that artists are excited to work with him.
Yeah.
Clearly.
No, I mean, his writing obviously is great. I'm just saying the artists that he picks, I love them equally. It's like, it's a great combo. Like, it's like, you know, it's not like I like his writing more than I like both. I equally am excited about both creators equally. Like, I love the illustrations and I love the writing. It's like I love both offerings that, you know, like, you know, sometimes you read a comic and you're like, I love the art more than I like the writing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But this is not the situation here. I'm liking both of the creators equally, and I'm excited about both, and that's a rare form these days right now with comics. Sometimes you're not meeting both with equal enthusiasm. So it's great. I feel like so far I have yet to find a book right now by Brian K. Vaughan that I have run into that I have not loved. You know, maybe this, you know, just haven't.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a great book. This issue's got some great, definitely some great moments in it. Some women power moments. So if you're one of those people that's offended by that, clearly not the book for you. But I absolutely loved them. Like where the two Tiffany's are having a conversation as they're walking along, and the older Tiffany's talking about the fact she doesn't want to stay here. Her life, kind of sucks. She's kind of gone a direction she did not ever want to go. And somehow she got stuck in accounting instead of engineering or whatever. And then and they're walking along and they're having a conversation, and the younger Tiffany's talking about, the lady that invented, time travel. She said, blah, blah, blah. And the older Tiffany goes, time travel was invented by a woman. Hell yeah. I love that. That's just kind of that sparkling eye of damn straight. That is so cool. And I also love the continued conversation about
lesbianism.
Yeah, which one is though?
Cage.
So KJ, her continued acceptance of the fact this is what I am. They kind of question her because Mac has been saying that she thinks she's been taken over by aliens or something, by lesbian aliens or something. It was the gay aliens, right? And so they start questioning her about it, and what can you tell us that we wouldn't that the gay aliens wouldn't know? And she goes into this detailed description of exactly what Mac was wearing the first time.
And how she ate cream cheese like a banana. Like a
the first time that they met. And it's not just an exact description of what she was wearing, but it's exactly how she acted. It's how she ate the banana. Clearly, it is the kind of memory that you have when you meet someone that sparks something in you, right? I mean,
yeah,
you meet those kinds of people, and those first moments are kind of embedded in you. And so she has this long, and as she's saying that, you can see Mac is kind of getting uncomfortable. She's like hiding her eyes because she's starting to cry over this whole, the whole thing of it, and she's like, okay, we get it. You're you. I just love that whole moment. And I love that's like, whew, Mac was seriously, convinced you were some sort of gay pod person. And she's like, one out of two anyway, because, and the girl gives this kind of stern look and then goes, oh, cool. But so she's embracing it. She's embracing the gay thing, which I think is great. And is, in 1988, right? Because 88 is where these
87. It could be 88. Yeah,
it's 87 or 88 is where the girls are from. That's still a pretty bold time to be going, at these girls' age, to be going, yeah, I'm gay, and rolling with it. So
that's very yeah.
So I really yes, excellent book. There's the complaint is the silly complaint. There needs to be more faster. I mean, right? That's both it and Saga. I mean, it's a criticism, but I don't know how. I don't know how that's a legitimate criticism to fix. It's so good, it reads so fast that it's done too quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just me being a little nitpicky or just hungry for more.
Because I don't think it's simplistic. It's not like there's not much to it, and so you just read it and you're done instantaneously, and it's like, oh man, I didn't get a chance to enjoy that. It's just so good and engrossing that you're through it. It flows so well. It's not a matter of thinking about having to turn pages. It's not a matter of being pulled out for any odd reason in it. It's just so fluid and so done so quick. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Any other? You do? You know what? I'm going to pick something weird just because you said that now.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about The Damned.
Ha! Okay, you know what? You totally got me on that one. I know you said.
So The Damned, issue number 8. Still really liking this book. Basically, what's going on is Eddie's in like a limbo land trying to save his mother. He's going to pull his mother out of limbo land because Eddie, when he dies, he goes to this limbo land place and his body there. If anybody touches his flesh, they take on his wounds and he is suddenly alive. His brother is trying to get his body back. His brother has all these weird magic chisels all over his arms. He's super strong and, does some rocking and rolling. One of the things I really love about this issue is there's a great panel of foreshadowing in this. At one point, we're getting a flashback to their childhood. Their father has just died. He's failed to meet the needs of these demons. The demons are talking about, well, we'll use the children next. There's this old witch there, and she's like, oh, how are the children going to be helpful if the old, if the father couldn't do it? And the demon's like, we are nothing but patients. We didn't say that they were going to do what we needed as children. They will do it as adults. But Eddie is off in the woods, and he is watching and listening to this conversation. And there's this great panel of shadows on the branches across his face, and it gives him the same scars. Because Eddie, here's a picture of Eddie. He has these scars all over his face from all the times he's been cut and killed and stuff like that. So as a kid, here he is as a kid, and the shadows of the branches foreshadow the scars that he will carry as an adult. And I just really like that. To me, that's just a great piece of storytelling, that foreshadowing. I really, really dig that. We get all this limbo land stuff. Eddie gets captured by some Denzians who actually live, who are part of the whole limbo land, purgatory kind of place. His mother rescues him. His mother and one of the little demons that live in the place. I shouldn't say demons, one of the little gremlins that live in the place. They rescue him. They take him to this portal he's supposed to see something that's out of the portal. We don't know if he saw it or not, because around the time he's sticking the key in to turn it to open up this portal, he gets brought back to life. His brother has rescued him from one of the groups of warring demons. And there's a greater war going on, and we're going to get to see that greater war between the demons and whatnot. But should have really enjoyed it. What else do you want to talk about, Rez?
Let's Grave Diggers.
Okay. Grave Diggers Union, issue number 4.
Yeah. I like this issue. I really liked it. Still very wacky, zany, crazy. Very there's moments in it that's, you know, I find crazy and hard to explain, but you know, any book that mentions Cthulhu is all right with me. So yeah. that was the pinnacle moment for me. Yeah. Of the book was when they mentioned a Cthulhu-esque monster, and that honed it in for me. And I said, you know what, you're okay with me, Grave. Yeah.
The Gnarl stuff and whatnot. Yeah, so we get these great couple opening pages. You know, Earth 6,000 years ago, which of course these pages are done by. Yeah, the monkey guy is running from some big giant. I don't know.
I thought it was a little yeti. I thought it was like a little mini yeti. That's what. Also, I liked the little yeti monster running through the woods.
Except I don't know what a yeti would be doing, running through the jungle of what looks like, I don't know, almost the equivalent of like a Mexican pyramid or something. But yeah,
that's why I found intriguing. I was like, oh my god, what is a yeti doing in an Incan? Running from an Incan pyramid. Sure. Kind of civilization. It was just
So this is the Wes Craven part of the book. This was interesting because it's not the same as the stuff we have been getting, because we're kind of getting this kind of deep space kind of monolith, 2001.
I am the monolith. I am the monolith.
Yeah. Kind of stuff. And then of course we get into what for me, I always dig the Toby Cypress artwork and whatnot. The colorist that's on this book, Gardenia is just nuts. The way they color stuff, it's just, to me, is just layers upon crazy stuff. And whatnot. I just dig it. Yeah, basically it's monster hunting. Our main monster hunter, the Union, his daughter is the head of this black temple cult. She has walked into the eye of the zombie hurricane to get some sort of prophecy or some sort of wisdom. She comes out of it with a sword, but by the end of it, and everything is telling the Gravediggers Union that they need to go, hunt her down and whatever. So I'm still finding it a fun book. I don't know how long this book's supposed to last. The stuff at the beginning is really, really curious. The adventure that's in the main part of the book seems finite. Like, how many issues can it go before it all comes to a header? I have no idea. And then I'm curious as to how the opening sequence stuff will match up to be something. But not deep story, but a fun kind of monster romp. And for me, visually, like I said, the Toby Cypress art, I dig it. So
yeah, I love the art. It just, it's what you said. Like, it's very, very fun little romp for sure.
Let's see, Twisted Romance.
Oh my god, I love this issue.
So Twisted Romance, and of course, Rez, you're reading it digitally, is that right? Yes. So here's part of it. Here's the other, and it is actually, you read about more than halfway through on this side.
Go back to that.
This story, and then you get a tongue of skeleton here. Yeah,
that's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it.
That's right. Sticking my tongue in the ear hole of a skeleton.
If you're not doing it like that, then you ain't doing it right.
So this story with this art is the Katie Selke art with Alex DeCampi writing this story, and then this one is the Sarah Horcrux. She's doing the entire thing. She does the entire book, the coloring, the drawing, the lettering. It's all just her. And then in the middle. And then in the middle is a chunk of prose that is Horrocks. Sorry, no cocks. Oh, sorry. Here we go. No cock. God damn it. No cocks involved. Horror rocks. Sorry.
Horks.
I was thinking horror crux like Harry Potter.
Okay.
But in the middle, it's got a story by Megan Cube that is prose in the middle of it. So we get this first story about a woman who hires a guy to break up a relationship between her husband and some lover. We find out that he is a succubus, and the person he's trying to break up with, the husband, is a succubi. They have history. They have conflict, right?
Mm-hmm. I didn't fake all these orgasms for years just for him to. So,
damn straight.
I said, "Oh, I hear that, girl." I said, "I hear it, girl. I hear it."
Oh, that's funny. But I liked. I mean, I don't know. I dug this art. It was kind of fun for what it was and whatnot. I like the transition in stuff. Like when he gets all dressed up in his leathers here, and he's going to the club, right? Mm-hmm. And he passes by, and everybody's in love with him because he's a succubi, right? And this as it goes to the next page, and then they're in the club, freak out. Of course, it's all the disco-y club and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then there it is.
My favorite part when people start getting knifed. People start getting knifed. I said, "Oh, shit's going down. Shit is going down."
Of course, it was your favorite part. We get a flashback. To Berlin and some guy-on-guy stuff and some threesome stuff and Nazi stuff. Yeah, it's all over the place.
You probably like punch a Nazi.
That's right. And then he goes back into the club. He goes back into the club and he sucks off power off of everybody by kind of getting with everybody in one sense or another. Yeah. And then he meets his nemesis, the succubus that he knew, and I don't want to tell the whole story, but she proves her power and how cold she is. And then fun stuff.
Very fun stuff.
What did you think of this?
I loved it. I can't wait to the next issue, to be quite honest.
The Red Medusa on the Road to Hell. So, I absolutely love this because it was weirder than shit. The art is strange. I think she's having sex with a corpse, possibly. Yeah. I mean, that guy does not look healthy by any means. Yes. No, but it's like I don't know if she's even really doing that because it's so addled and so like drug induced kind of a thing. She falls into water at some point. She gasps for
I totally thought
air. And then she's like she comes up out of the water and this giant person engages her, and then the person gets to be the same height as her, pulls off this mask that she's wearing, but it's actually her face, so she actually pulls the flesh off of part of her face. They've known each other in the past. They have this conversation about the past, and then believe it or not, that's the two of them making out. And I'm assuming this is like the blood coming off of her face while she's making out with the lady who half her face is off her face.
Yeah.
Do you think there's another episode of this?
I wasn't fond of this one. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was just it was enough. It was enough for me.
Yeah, I loved it just because it was so weird. Because I read it like four times. I read it like 4 times going, I'm not sure exactly what story I was told, but I mean, I visually, it's stimulating to me that visually this is just, weird enough textures and strange images that make me go, visually, I loved it. But as far as story, as far as like something I can get through and it was digestible, the first one was easy going. I was like, yes. But the second one was like, okay, this is something that visually I like a lot, Right. It's a good thing. It's only 10 pages as opposed to 30 some pages.
Yeah.
At one time. Yeah. I'm not really excited by the lettering though either. I mean, as much as sometimes lettering getting weird is fine. Sarah has about as good a handwriting as I do. And so it's not consistent. I mean, she clearly did these pages and hand wrote the lettering in as opposed to like, using, some sort of a computer program to lay the to lay the text or whatever. And she did. It wasn't like she even went in there and drew lines like you would if you were doing draftsman type writing and wrote it in. It's sloppy. So, but I don't know. I still liked it just because it was so. I don't know. Mark,
no, it was very unique.
Mark, you sack of shit. You promised me forever. I said, Mark, I can't take loss. You said something, baby. And you lie here like a gasping shit stain on the floor. Are you afraid? That's the opening page to Red Medusa on the Road to Hell.
Yeah.
Did you read the prose in the middle?
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting story with werewolves and vampires and
lycanthropes.
Like, yep.
Anything with lycanthropes, I always read.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it was a $4 book. It's hefty. I mean, it's way more pages than your standard book. I'm looking forward to next week because one of these comes out every week in the month of February. I'm happy with the purchase. I mean, was kind of, I don't know what I'm going to get. We'll see. It's been fun. I like it. Like it so far. Curious to see what's next.
Yeah.
What else do you want to talk about? Anything else?
I guess we could talk about the Mike Mignola
Rasputin?
Dragons.
Which one? Oh, Rasputin or
Rasputin, the voice of the dragon. What's the other one? I can't pronounce it right now.
Yeah,
I gotta look at
the
Koshel.
Yeah.
Koshel, the deathless.
Koshik's the deathless. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's the L, right? Or is it Koshe? I don't know.
It's Koschei.
L or I, or I mean, is that an L at the end or
no? It's an I.
Okay, I don't know. Oh, okay. Well then, Koshai.
Some Scandinavian, Slovakian kind of.
Well, that Koshai one was better than the dragon one. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, so it's.
Do you notice that everybody named Mishka? Anybody named Mishka in any book I've ever freaking read always gets killed. Every book ever across the comic verse, anybody named Mishka always gets killed. Always.
Yeah.
Just got to say that.
Well, this Mishko's kind of an idiot, so he was warned and.
Yeah, warranted, but just had to say that. And I've read like at least 4 or 5 books in this year with a Mishka somewhere that has gotten killed.
Right.
And but that one was definitely fared better. But I have to say that the reason why I wanted to bring up the dragon one was because of the fact that what's his name? The one who cast the spell. What's his name? The one who's getting his head cut while he was talking.
Right. Shadi.
Yeah. I had his name in my head. I like him. I like his character.
Right, because we've seen him before. He was in the Black Can stuff that we read.
Yes, he's in Black Flame, Rise of the Black Flame. I like him, and so he I like his chemistry. I like the chemistry he gives off, the vibe he gives off. He makes the book more interesting. However, the book still does not. It's still not great. It's still not a great book. It's just like his character's not saving the book enough for me to care about Rasputin and his dastardly plan to take over the world. If that makes any sense.
Oh, sure.
And honestly, and to be quite honest, I still don't feel like this has anything to do with anything Egyptian of anything. Like, based off, like, we're talking about German stuff, and then we try to fuse it in with the Egyptian themes. It just doesn't fit. It doesn't mesh together so well.
So like, the Egyptian themes are partially
the Eye of Ra, the Eye of Horus.
But it's faux. It's faux, and it's faux on purpose. It's the Brotherhood of, I can't remember what they're called, Kochi or whatever. They used trappings of Egyptian elements, but they were not Egyptian. it was kind of like, because they were kind of got themselves trapped in the 1920s era where
they use the mythology of the Egyptians, you know.
Yeah, well, I think it's more fashion. It's not the mythology as much as it is fashion, because in the 1920s, during the Art Deco era and whatnot, that's when King Tut's tomb was first found, and it was all kind of the whole Egyptian stuff was really fashionable and whatnot. And I think that the reason there's so much of that in this like secret lair and whatnot, because it was just a fashionable kind of thing. It wasn't so much that there was actually real power in some of that. There was in the pyramid itself, but some of it's just kind of there as window dressing because that was the cool way to look. You know, like if you were making witches now, they would look goth because goth is the thing, right? Yeah. So I think that's partially the look of it as far as that goes. I mean, for me personally, I like this issue because it was at least exciting. We're coming to the header. Next issue is the final issue of this arc. I mean,
that's why you like it.
I mean, clearly the complaint stands that it's not Rasputin. This isn't a Rasputin book. This is a professor book, Professor Bartholomew. He's doing his stuff. We're getting, and I appreciate it for the filling in more of what happened during this time right before Hellboy. I'm fine with that. But don't call it Rasputin and don't try selling me that I'm going to get a lot of him because there isn't. I love the other characters that are in. I'm with you. I like our guy that's from the East Indies. He's an interesting character, and the fact that he's made it to Paris and he's kind of part of, the secret ops, occult ops, which is cool. It's a perfect place for him to go from where we first saw him at. So I like all those elements and stuff, and they continued with the whole zombie super soldiers and all that. I love all that stuff. I just think that Rasputin, the voice of the dragon, is a raw bill of sale for this book. Call it something else, and I probably would be way more fine with it. Because I'm not reading the whole thing going, damn, where's Rasputin now? Give me a good Rasputin book. This isn't it.
We just keep getting like literally the most minute vignette of him, like the most viewing of Rasputin. Like, it's always at the very, very tail end of the book, every single issue, and that's my issue too. That's my most biggest complaint. It's like, so how like you're saying, how is this a Rasputin book? Because we're literally seeing 1 or 2 panels of him, and then it's like 1 or 2 words. Oh, here I am. My evil plan.
Well, we're not even really getting the real Nazi Rasputin plan. Even in this, we were getting a look at the fact that they're uncovering something that this society that's been around for a very long time has kind of some secret stuff.
This just reminds me of Indiana Jones crystal skulls crap. It doesn't feel like, it just feels like, I love all the other Indiana Jones movies, but this feels like the Crystal Skull, and it just feels like they messed it up. They messed up they just messed something up. That's what it feels like.
As far as this one, the Deathless one, I'm really enjoying it. Largely the Ben Steinbeck art. I love Ben Steinbeck's art. Dave Stewart colors. Makes it all enjoyable with that. I like the way the story's told, because it's literally this guy and Hellboy sitting in a bar in hell having this story, and every so often Hellboy will interject and go, wait, you mean you did, what happened to the ball of yarn? It's got all the kind of great Baba Yaga old fairy tale storyness to it. She gives them a ball of yarn, they throw the ball of yarn down, and they follow this hopping ball of yarn to meet, they need to find a guy who was born of a cow. So we get this whole kind of fairy tale about a magic fish that gets caught. Everybody eats a piece of the fish, and everybody has a son. And these sons, I love all that kind of wives' tale-ish kind of thing as we are venturing through this. So I can roll with this forever because I like kind of retellings or hints at, the old, in this case, the old, I think Russian-esque stories, because then Baba Yaga kind of a Russian folk tale. Slavic. Yeah. So I'm digging that because I don't know tons of that stuff. So it's fun to kind of, and that's what this really is kind of
Yiddish,
a telling of that sort of a sort of a thing. So I'm digging it for all that kind of stuff. So yeah. I only have one other book to talk about. You got any more?
I know I read one more. I did read one more.
You want to talk about it?
You tell me what you read. What did you read?
So I read The Wicked and Divine. This is the 1923 AD. So it tells about the gods and godlings in the 20s, which I've been kind of interested in for quite some while because one of the issues really early on kind of hinted at this. The thing about this book is it's mostly it's prose. I mean, it is large. It's a thick book, but it is largely this. It is largely like reading a book with the occasional little pieces of sequential art dropped in as we see people just get their heads blown off and whatnot. So interesting, a fine read, but I don't know. It took a long time to get into the characters because they're not the same. I mean, there's different gods. Some of these gods I don't even know. Neptune, Sudanu, for instance, Set, Amun-Ra. So there's these characters that aren't part of the pantheon that we're currently reading. Plus the people that are here that are part of the pantheon that we are reading are different people. I mean, Lucifer's this guy. The Norns are three men. So it's all these elements that Ananku is the only person who's the same. So I have to read this and learn who these new people are and what they're like. So took me a while to get into the characters. And of course, this is the final days of these gods' lives in this story. I mean, I get the idea of the prose to some degree because you could tell a lot more story. But I think I could have gotten who these people were faster if it was all sequential art. So I did enjoy it. It is a hefty book. I mean, it's, like 50 pages, I think. Book. But at the same time, like I said, it was harder to get into the whole thing because of the prose aspect of it versus what I've been reading it as a comic book. So, looking forward to the regular book getting back. I think it is the final arc, and then it'll all be done.
Yep.
And then you can pick it all up in trades and have fun with it.
Yeah, I know, because that's how I read it. I read it in trade.
And it's another book that's smart to read that way. If you start out, definitely, to continue with reading that way, because you're going to be able to really get into the story and just read it all through. So, yeah. Alrighty, that's it for me.
Yep.
We done then?
Yeah.
Just to touch back for some information, the Wildstorm number 12 has been pushed back 2 weeks. It was supposed to be February 21st. It's now going to be March 7th.
Did it say why?
Ellis is having some issues.
God damn it.
Yeah, he says that he needs to catch up on scripts 13 and 14, and he has barely started roughing 15 out.
Uh-oh. So it is Ellis. I love you, man. I love you, man, but that's kind of a bummer.
Sounds, you know what?
Yeah, whatever.
You know what?
So,
it's this wise girl named Rez.
Oh, well, I mean, it's pretty clear that all the books that he's on end up at some point having some sort of a problem, but there's been plenty of other books that haven't been a problem. So
I love them, but
But I thought maybe it would be a priority to not get behind because it's work for hire.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Don't give me those looks. You can be muted. No. I just figured, at least with that book, because it's the work for hire stuff, that he would not get behind on that. He'd let the other stuff get farther behind. He'd pull a shipwreck with the other ones or something, but not the work for hire stuff. Speaking of other independent type news, another thing I thought of, speaking of Warren Ellis and stuff, it looks like Avatar Press is going away. Or something.
What? I love them.
What are you reading by them?
You know what? Let's
Gotcha.
Let's
Gotcha.
not do this here. Let's not do this here, okay?
Gotcha. See, that's why. That's why they're going away.
Yeah.
So, and the only reason
I love them from a distance, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And that's why I say it seems like they're going away. I mean, I don't know officially. I've not seen anything officially, but there is zero solicitations for them going forward. There's nothing.
I love them from a distance. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you this.
They're finishing up things like Uber and
I still collect Cinema Purgatorio. Actually, thank you. Okay. I'm a little behind, but I collect them when I can.
Just saying, solicitation wise, they're finishing up the books that are ongoing right now, and there is nothing new. There's nothing. So I don't know what that means. Other than if Avatar Press actually goes under, which I have no idea they are. I'm not trying to start a rumor. Maybe they'll take Bleeding Cool down with it because they're the main sponsor for Bleeding Cool, and I'd love to see Bleeding Cool go under. So.
All right. In good news, we did find out that we will see a live-action version of Doom Patrol on Titans show.
Oh, God, what?
I mean, part of me is like super. I just can't believe it. Yes, issue number 5, episode number 5. Jeff Johns, a day or two ago, took a snapshot of the cover of the script for episode 5 of the Teen Titans, and it is entitled Doom Patrol. So I swore up and down I was not going to get that goddamn DC exclusive, content that's on their own app or whatever.
Yep. But just do a trial. I'm sure if you wait till that episode comes out, do a free trial, then cancel.
Well, I still want to know, is it an app that I can only watch on my phone, my Kindle, and my computer? Or is it something I'm going to be able to figure out how to get on my television? Because I want to watch it on the big screen.
Most of the apps that I have, I can project onto my TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the CWs, even the CW Seed, all those I can push to my TV easily. Cool. I mean, I'm kind of an idiot, so I got that to work.
So it's kind of like how you can push YouTube to the television.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So, like I said, I swore up and down I was not going to get it because I'm getting tired of how fractured all the streaming services are. I mean, how many streaming services do I have to have? At any rate. As big of a Doom Patrol fan as I am, I'll break at least for that episode. So, but we'll see.
Where's it again?
It's DC is going to have an exclusive streaming service that is going to show the final season of Young Justice and is going to show a live action Teen Titans. And I don't know what else, but it's going to be,
I'm trying to look it up.
Yeah. I don't think it exists yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is. And I'm guessing, I wonder, what they'll be able to pull from the CW, because a lot of their cartoons are on like a CW Seed,
right?
Which is small version.
Those are great cartoons.
Yes, they are. So
the Vixen one is awesome.
Yep. And then I just saw the one with the Ray and like the Freedom Fighters and all that. I haven't got to watch it, but
So like I said, I hate all the streaming services, but it doesn't exist yet. I don't think it's. I think the Young Justice cartoon will come first. I'm not sure if it's even 2018.
No, I'm guessing they're going to have to wait and launch both Young Justice and Titans together. I mean, they need enough content to make people buy.
I don't know. People are buying the CBS streaming service just to watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I refuse.
I still got rabbit ears on the top of my house. I'm trying to get whatever I can.
No. As I say, nobody should buy it. We should all boycott it. That way, they're forced to like sell it to Hulu or Netflix or somebody else, so I can watch it.
Netflix is doing really well these days. Have you been seeing the stuff they're putting on right now? Like I'm thoroughly entertained these days.
Yeah, I watched Cloverfield. So
I can't keep up with everything.
Cloverfield Paradox. I'm like so right now into everything. Like I love seeing everybody's like little connections, like connecting all the dots of all the different parallel dimensions. I'm really a huge sci-fi fan, so I just love seeing everybody's, trying to connect the dots between all the the Cloverfields and stuff, and I'm so into it. I just can't wait for the next Cloverfield. Really excited.
So the first week of March is when the new Jessica Jones comes out. They just launched a second trailer. That second trailer looks pretty awesome. Of course, it's the music over it is the yeahs. So for me, I was a huge fan of that part too.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna explore her origin, where she got her powers from.
Yes. Yeah, and we literally get Patricia Patty in it saying she may not want a sidekick, but she needs a sidekick. So I think that means we're going to get maybe a real Hellcat. So that'll be cool too.
Because her powers are magical by nature. Is that correct?
Jessica's?
Oh,
science.
No, Hellcat or
a Hellcat to start out with. No, to start out with, she's just a scrapper, and then she ends up dating Son of Satan, and that kind of screws with her and gives her some other stuff. That's my understanding of how that works, anyway.
All right. I figured you might know because I know you're going to do that Doctor Strange 25-part crossover.
Yo, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Dude. So I got a random question for you that was asked of me, and I'm not 100% sure. Right. Where does Captain America get his shield from? His circular vibranium shield?
Well,
do you know?
The movies, he gets it from Tony Stark, but
Tony Stark's dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the comic books, in the real world, where does he get it from? Do you know?
In the real world. No, I can't say right offhand. Okay. I definitely am not as strong on Cap.
Okay. As I was just curious. If you knew. I kind of Googled it. It says that it's some metallurgist, blah blah blah, and I just wasn't sure if that was as simple as that or if it was more complex than that.
No, I'm guessing it all.
But I was like, no, I know.
Program.
Yeah, I was like, no, I know it's not a Stark because the that's a movie thing. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it being Tony Stark's dad. But no, that's no. So
no, I think it's all still hooks to the program.
Right, just somebody. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Alrighty. Anything else we want to talk about?
Well, I think that's it for me.
Sweet. Rez, anything else?
Hey, Rez.
Either Rez, yeah.
Rez or the ghost of Rez. Yes. So, yeah, I guess that's it for the night. Thanks for coming on, talking some books with me. And probably, I'll be here next week, I'm sure, as long as I have books to read. And
so long as you take care of your Valentine's Day issues.
Yeah, I don't have any.
The wife doesn't expect anything? The wife doesn't expect anything?
No.
What?
No.
That might be the issue.
I don't do Valentine's.
All right.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them evil pigs.
I thought that one year, and guess what? I was wrong.
Oh. Well, I've got a few years under my belt of it not being something, so.
Okay.
Oh my god.
I believe Valentine's Day is Wednesday, and that's about it. So
yeah,
it's New Comic Book Day. I know that. There you go. I am evil.
Dark is like, oh my god.
Satan.
But honey, Travis doesn't have to do nothing.
There you go. That's a good way to get your ass kicked by your wife. Man, don't do that.
Sorry, don't listen to him.
Don't do that. The guys in the comic book round table don't celebrate Valentine's Day. Yeah. But suddenly Mike is never seen on the comic book round table again.
Yeah.
I know. This man's a bad influence. Do not listen to him.
Yes. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me, kids. Celebrate. Whoever your other half is, celebrate.
Yeah.
For sure. At any rate, we're done. We're just being goofy now. So we're going to call it a night. Thank you very much for you guys for coming on and talking comic books with me. I always appreciate it. Thank you for those that watched along live here. Always appreciate it. Those of you in the comments, thank you very much. Matt Hammer, Luke, Brandon, Ryan C shows up just in time for us to close down. How's it going, Ryan? you gotta get on the day shift, man, so you can come back and talk comics with us again. It would be awfully cool. Any rate, thank you everyone who watches us after the fact. We will catch you later.